Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Happy Easter to all of our friends and listeners of Christian faith. It is April 9th, 2023, and we welcome you to another episode of the Big Daily Blend podcast with Nancy and Lisa, the mother-daughter travel team on the Love Your Parks tour and publishers of Big Blend magazines. Today we are recording from Lubbock, Texas, and it's Easter. It was beautiful yesterday, so let's see what today brings us. And in celebration of Easter, I do want to tell you, if you look in the show notes, you're going to see our links to our music playlist of today. You can listen on Spotify and on YouTube. So to celebrate Easter, of course, we had to turn to our good friend Johnny Schaefer. I encourage you to go to his website to hear his music, hearjohnny.com. You can also find him on Spotify and YouTube. And so we started off our playlist today with two of his songs, his 2020 song called Unflown, and his 2021 song, You Can't Hide the Light. He is awesome. We also have a puzzle just for Easter today. It's a puzzle and a podcast, so check out the link for this. It's a puzzle of Pasanki Ukrainian Easter eggs, plus a podcast on how they are crafted and the symbolism behind them. Okay, so now moving on from Easter, do you know today happens to be National Unicorn Day? I didn't even know there was one. It celebrates the mythical horse-like creature. That beautiful horn that, comes out of the center of the forehead. They have actually been a popular mythical creature since way back to ancient Greek times. People actually thought they came from India, believe it or not. But they have been known for being powerful, fierce, as well as a symbol of love, purity, enchantment, and magic. So good for Easter, So, of course, we had to find music, and we did. The song The Last Unicorn by America is part of the playlist. It's a beautiful song. Now, if you want to change your name, this is the day to do it. Apparently, today is National Name Yourself Day, so you can reinvent your name today. I think you can do it whenever you want, but apparently we have a special day for that. It's also National Winston Churchill Day. It commemorates the day when he was made an honorary citizen of the United States. Winston Churchill is known for his leadership as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom during World War II. And he earned his reputation through experience both in politics and the military. Speaking of military, today also marks the historic end of the American Civil War that stopped on this day, April 9th, 1865. It's also National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. This honors those men and women who have endured brutal treatment at the hands of their captors. And we do have an interview also linked from the show notes with Mike Guardia, a very popular military historian and author. He's on our show every first Monday, so I linked over to our interview with him about POW camps in Vietnam and World War II. So that's enough on war on Easter, right? It also today is National Cherish an Antique Day. So this makes us kind of look at, antiques and the stories behind them, whether it's a mug, maybe it's a piece of art, maybe it's even an antique photo, postcard. It all can tie back to your family history or tell a story of something that maybe had a use back then, maybe not now, but tells a story of history. So we have a link to an article about that too, all about how to protect your antiques, your art and collectibles. This interview and articles features Will Seipo, who is the founder of WorthPoint. That's a very fascinating story and interview, I should say, and then great tips in his article about how to protect them. And also, I did find a song. It's called Antique, go figure, and it's by the Pittsburgh band, The Ghost Club. So check that out. This is a little shorter podcast than usual. It is Easter. Okay, so getting to some food. Today is National Chinese Almond Cookie Day. Who doesn't love a good almond cookie? It's also National Gin and Tonic Day. So going back to Winston Churchill, he famously said, "Gin and tonic have saved more Englishmen lives and minds than all the doctors in the empire." Go Winston. Of course, we found a song. This is Gin by Hannah Unsalted. So we've got that in our playlist. Again, everything's in the show notes, no matter where you're listening, whether it is Podbean or Acast or Spotify or YouTube. And of course, our shows are always at bigblendradio.com. And we're talking about, gin and tonic, almond cookies. What about breakfast? Easter especially is good breakfast, right? In 1979, Supertramp's Breakfast in America song was certified gold. So, of course, we added that to the music playlist. And we also added Moon River by Henry Mancini with vocalist Audrey Hepburn. This is the first time I think I've really sat down to listen to her sing. They won the Best Original Song Academy Award for Moon River from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, and this happened in 1962. So, of course, we've got that on the playlist, like I said, but when it comes to recipes, well, we had to go to Breakfast at Tiffany's. Tiffany's is an awesome bed and breakfast just outside Hot Springs, Arkansas. They have acres and acres of woods, beautiful gardens. They've got butterflies and birds and hiking trails. They're, real close to Hot Springs, so you can go to the national park. There's botanical gardens. There's lakes. It is just beautiful. And Tiffany and Bob are awesome. And we've got a Breakfast at Tiffany's, two recipes from her on one page: green chili egg bake and a coconut banana bread. So the recipe links and a podcast link are all there in the show notes. And because we're talking about Breakfast at Tiffany's near Hot Springs, we also have a link to an article about Hot Springs by travel writer Debbie Stone. Nancy and I had a ball going there, and it's actually known as like Spa City because they have all the hot springs in the downtown that you go to, these spa bath areas, bathhouses, and you can go to the downtown as actually part of the national park. But there are hiking trails, scenic drives, the views are incredible. So Hot Springs is definitely a destination. It's got a lot of cool baseball history. In fact, they have murals showcasing the baseball. They have mob history. There's galleries. Hot Springs rocks. You got to go, y'all. We'll be there in summer. Again, we love it. All right, so when we get to music, did you know that on this day in history, April 9th, 1860, the oldest audible sound recording of a human voice was made? Turned out to be an anonymous vocalist saying "Au clair de la lune" to a Parisian inventor called Edouard Léon Scott de Martinville. And this turns out to be the oldest surviving recording of the human voice singing. Theobald Bohm, the inventor of the modern flute, was born on this day in 1794. Paolo Tosti, the composer, in 1846. Paul Robeson, the singer and activist, man, does he have a deep voice. He was born in 1898. And Tom Lehrer, the songwriter, was born in 1928. Now, Hal Ketchum, the country singer, got his hits like Small Town Saturday Night, Past the Point of Rescue. He was born in 1953 in Greenwich, New York. And so we thought, since it's Easter, we should play the song On the Wings of a Dove. And that is included in the playlist. On this day in history, Bob Dylan stunned the world and his fans and critics. In 1969, when he released Nashville Skyline, a country album, and it's a completely different sound than he's done. But, come on, everyone's got to be used to Dylan doing what he wants, changing things up, like when he went electric. So we added the song Nashville Skyline Rag to the playlist. Take a listen to that. And then finally, we're going to close today's show. I told you, short podcast, it's Easter. With the quote, and this is from Carl Lee Perkins. We love Carl Perkins, the musician. He was an American guitarist, singer, songwriter, born April 9th, 1932. He passed away in January 1998. Definitely all from Tennessee. That's where he was, was born and passed, and got famous with his recording career at Sun Studio in Memphis. That really started in 1954. Some of his best-known songs are Blue Suede Shoes, Honey Don't, which we're going to close with, and Matchbox and Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. A lot of people recorded his music, like Elvis did, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Cash, Eric Clapton, and as Paul McCartney says, if there were no Carl Perkins, there would be no Beatles. He was nicknamed the King of Rockabilly and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, and the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. He also received a Grammy Hall of Fame award. So we're going to close our music playlist with Honey Don't, but here's the quote of the day. It's one of my personal favorites of life. If it weren't for the rocks in the bed, the stream would have no song. It's a quote by Carl Perkins. We hope you've had a wonderful Easter weekend and are still having it and still enjoying it. And thank you all for keeping up with us here on the Big Daily Blend. We'll be back tomorrow with a more full edition with Nancy and more fun to be had. And so keep up with us, please, at bigblendradio.com, Spotify, Acast, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, all at Big Blend Radio. And for all of you celebrating a birthday day, we wish you a wonderful and happy birthday.